Hello and welcome to LocoFi. Today we are going to install the LocoFi module in yet another diesel locomotive. It's a Model Power F2-A SP Daylight. This install will be more of an overview of how to go about physically installing, mounting the board inside and how to open the locomotive and things like that rather than the wiring itself. We have plenty of other videos which shows the wiring. It's pretty much the same, and there is resources, documentation, install guides which have plenty more detailed information regarding that. So let's get started with the install. So as you can see, it appears there are like these notches which hold the locomotive in place. So I'm just gonna uh, kind of spread the sides apart, and it should kind of pop out. If uh, instead I have like probably like a fear that I might break the shell or damage something, so I can use something like a plastic plier to kind of lift the shell up from like one side, and once that comes loose while holding this side, so that it doesn't fall back in, just lift the other side and the shells should pop right off. Now be careful, just don't pull it off because the coupler is kind of coming out from the front. So just slowly lift it up and bend it, turn it around and get it out. So this model already came with these knuckle couplers. I'm not sure if it's how it is shipped default, or the seller just provided like that. But anyways, we keep the shell aside for now. Looking at this frame, we can see there's a light bulb here, and there is the power wires coming from the front and power wires coming from the rear, uh, going below these tabs here, and the light wires are also coming below these tabs to kind of keep them in place, and they get tied in series to them. So it's a basically a DC motor, DC engine. And so what we are going to do here is try to figure out how we can mount the board on top of it. So for this particular locomotive, we are going to install actually a DDLLHA inside it. And we are going to one way to install would be to just simply kind of keep it on top of the motor and just tape from the top, and then somehow get the speaker to hang inside. But that usually will lead to some other problems sooner or later, because things do come loose. So one of the easier ways to get around this is to use like a mount, like a platform. Either you can construct it using like some styrene, or here we have like a 3D printed very custom mount for this particular type of motor. And for DDLLHA, it's a simple platform, but these kind of sides go over the motor. They fit very nice and snug, and these holes, the tiny little holes, are there for passing the wires around below the module. So it's gonna kind of come on top of the motor like this, and we have these couple of capacitors which will kind of fit inside the holes, and we'll just have the speaker in the front like this. And once we solder up the connections, again look up the documentation, other videos, how we can wire these are NMRA standard color coded wires. We'll replace the bulb with the LED, and things will be all set and ready to go. Now one thing to note is, although we are using DDLLHA for this install, We do provide a mount for DULLHP, and if you go about using DULLHP to install in this particular locomotive, then this mount sort of fits, because was more like customized for the Ath blue boxes. So all you have to do is kind of maybe tape this mount itself first, so that it comes even on both the sides. And but in case this doesn't look right to you, and you really want to install a DULLHP in this particular locomotive, and you want a custom mount for it, please do let us know, and we will be glad to design a custom mount for this kind of motor and this kind of install. Because just like Ath loop boxes, we know there are quite a few model power type of locomotives out there, and if you're interested in converting those to LocoFi, and they have like a similar internal structure, then do let us know. We'll design a custom mount for you, and you can go from there. So let's get these out of the way, and before I fit these, let me just clean these wires up. I'll pretty much disconnect the bulb, use only the power wires. The motor would be isolated, and which is, I mean, it's already isolated. It's just that I need to disconnect the wires from the power and use the orange and gray wires here. And once everything is all neat and tidied up, I'll come back with how it all looks. Meanwhile, also, while we have the locomotive open, I'm just gonna kind of clean out these gears and stuff, and the splines here, and lubricate them with new oil, so that we have a good runner here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just come back with how the final picture looks like. We'll close the shell and give it a test run. Okay, so we are back with the install. So as you can see, the light wires are all now routed through the same place, and instead of the bulb, it's an LED now. The mount is fitting very nicely, very snugly, and the power wires are going to the red and black of the module, and the orange and gray are being routed from the hole beneath this mount, and everything is in place and taped up. And you can see, this is how it finally looks. So let's as I said, I also lubricated all the gears and stuff, cleaned it all up, and let's put the shell back on and give it a test run. Okay, so we have the shell back on, and we put it on a treadmill to test it out. So let's give it a test. The front light, it's not really visible, but it's working. Sounds are working. Let's give some throttle. Yep, seems to work. Nice and good. So there we have it. A successful install in a typical model power type of motor, specifically this unit, Southern Pacific Daylight F2-A. And if you would like a custom mount for the DULLHP, please let us know, email us, put it in the comments. Also, if there are any other questions, please again do not hesitate to get back to us. So there you go. Thank you.